The war room at Peterson Space Force Base was quiet. Too quiet for Jake Morrison's liking. The captain sat at the metal table, staring at the empty coffee cup in front of him. Outside the underground facility, snow fell on the Colorado mountains. Inside, the air felt heavy with secrets. General Lisa Hayes walked into the room carrying a thick folder marked with red stamps. Her face looked tired, like she had not slept in days. She placed the folder on the table and sat across from Jake. "Captain Morrison, what I'm about to tell you will change everything you think you know about Earth," she said. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly. Jake had been in the military for 15 years. He had seen combat in 3 different countries, but something about the general's tone made his stomach twist. "What's this about, General?" 3 months ago, a fleet of alien warships disappeared, Lisa said. She opened the folder and pulled out photographs. The images showed massive ships, each one the size of a city. These belonged to something called the Draconian Empire. Jake looked at the photos. The ships were dark and covered in spikes. They looked like they were built for one purpose: war. Aliens are real? Very real. And they were coming here to destroy us. Lisa pulled out more papers. 237 ships, the biggest fleet the galaxy has ever seen. They called it the Iron Fang Armada. The captain felt dizzy. Where did they go? That's what the entire galaxy wants to know. Lisa stood up and walked to a screen on the wall. She pressed a button and a star map appeared. Red dots marked the path the alien fleet had taken. The path ended at a blue dot labeled Earth. They were supposed to arrive here 3 months ago. Instead, they vanished completely. Jake studied the map. Maybe they broke down, got lost. These weren't some small patrol ships, Captain. Each vessel carried enough firepower to glass a continent. The flagship alone had a crew of 50,000. Lisa's finger traced the fleet's route. They sent regular reports back to their empire. Then, exactly 72 hours before reaching Earth, complete silence. What do other aliens think happened? Lisa smiled, but it was not a happy smile. They're scared. The Draconian Empire was the strongest military force in known space. If something could make them disappear without a trace, what could it do to everyone else? Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Is there something out there? Something worse than these Draconians? In a way, yes. Lisa walked back to the table. But it's not what you think. Before Jake could ask what she meant, the door opened. A woman in a white lab coat entered. She had short brown hair and carried a tablet computer. Her name tag read, Dr. Amy Rodriguez. General Hayes, the committee is ready for the briefing, Amy said. She looked at Jake with curious eyes. Is this Captain Morrison? Yes. Amy, I need you to explain Project Aegis to the captain. Amy sat down and placed her tablet on the table. Captain, how much do you know about alien technology? Nothing until 5 minutes ago. I didn't know aliens existed. Fair enough. Amy swiped her finger across the tablet screen. Images of strange devices appeared. For the past 40 years, Earth has had contact with alien civilizations. Not official. Contact, secret contact. Jake's head was spinning. 40 years? Small encounters, crashed ships, lost scouts. Each time our scientists studied what we found. We learned how their technology worked. Then we made it better. Better? Amy nodded. Human minds work differently than alien minds. We see problems they miss. We find solutions they never consider. What took them centuries to develop, we improved in decades. General Hayes leaned forward. Amy, show him the ships. Amy touched the tablet again. The screen filled with images of sleek spacecraft. They looked nothing like the spiked Draconian vessels. These ships were smooth and silver like droplets of mercury frozen in space. We've been building our own fleet, Amy explained. 37 ships so far. Each one uses technology that's completely invisible to alien sensors. Jake stared at the images. Invisible? To their instruments, our ships don't exist. We can fly right next to them and they'll never know we're there. How is that possible? Amy smiled. Like I said, human. Minds work differently. Aliens build their sensors to detect alien technology. They never imagined someone might approach the problem from a completely different angle. General Hayes pulled out another photograph. This one showed a massive space station floating in the darkness. This is Deep Station Alpha. It's hidden in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The aliens have mapped our solar system dozens of times. They've never seen it. Jake felt like he was dreaming. You're telling me Earth has a secret space fleet? Not just a fleet, an entire hidden civilization. Lisa's voice was proud. While the galaxy thinks we're primitive humans who barely learned to fly, we've been preparing for the day when someone would try to conquer us. The Draconians, among others. They weren't the first to consider Earth a target. They were just the first to actually try. Amy leaned back in her chair. Captain, the galaxy operates on a simple rule. The strong survive, and the weak get enslaved or destroyed. Every alien species expects us to follow that rule. But we don't? No, General Hayes said firmly. We have something they don't understand. Something that makes us more dangerous than any weapon. Jake waited for her to continue. We have patience, and we have mercy. The room was quiet again. Jake looked at the photos of alien warships and human vessels. What happened to the Draconian fleet? General Hayes and Amy exchanged glances. That's what we're going to show you next, Captain. But first you need to understand something important. What's that? The galaxy is about to learn that Earth is not what it seems, and when they do, everything is going to change. The elevator dropped down for what felt like forever. Jake Morrison watched the numbers on the display climb higher and higher. 500 feet, 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet. The elevator finally stopped at 3,000 feet below. Ground. Welcome to the Real Earth Defense Force, General Hayes said as the doors opened. Jake stepped out and his mouth fell open. The underground space was enormous. The ceiling stretched up so high he could barely see it. Bright lights hung everywhere, making the cavern as bright as daylight. But what made Jake's heart race were the ships. Dozens of spacecraft sat in neat rows like cars in a parking lot. Some were small, maybe the size of a fighter jet. Others were massive, longer than football fields. Workers in blue uniforms crawled over the vessels like ants, checking systems and loading supplies. This is Facility 7, Dr. Rodriguez said, walking beside them. One of 12 underground shipyards we've built across the world. 12? Jake could barely speak. The one in Russia is even bigger than this, General Hayes replied. The Chinese facility specializes in manufacturing. The Australian base handles research. A man in a colonel's uniform approached them. He was tall, with gray hair and serious eyes. General Hayes, I'm Colonel Ryan Blake. I run this facility. Colonel. Blake, this is Captain Morrison. He's going to be briefed on Operation Aegis. Ryan shook Jake's hand. His grip was firm. Captain, what you're about to see is the result of 40 years of secret work. Every country on Earth has contributed to this project. They walked along a metal platform that looked down on the shipyard floor. Jake could see workers welding, computers blinking, and robots moving supplies. The sound was incredible, like being inside a giant factory. How did you build all this without anyone knowing? Jake asked. Very carefully, Ryan answered. We told people we were building subway tunnels, mining operations, or underground storage facilities. The materials came from hundreds of different sources. No single company ever knew what they were really building. They stopped at a window that looked into another section of the facility. Behind the glass, Jake could see a sleek, silver ship that seemed to shimmer like water. That's the Phantom, Ryan said with pride in his voice. Our newest stealth ship. Want to guess how many crew members it needs? Jake studied the ship. It was about the size of a small building. Maybe 50 people? 1. The entire ship is controlled by a single pilot through a neural interface we developed from alien technology. Neural interface? Dr. Rodriguez explained. The pilot's mind connects directly to the ship's computer. They don't just fly the ship, they become the ship. Human reflexes are much faster than alien reflexes. When our pilots connect to these vessels, they can outfight anything in space. They continued walking along the platform. Jake saw ships of every size and shape. Some looked like flying triangles. Others were round like discs. A few had no clear shape at all, seeming to bend and twist as he watched them. Each design serves a different purpose, Ryan explained. Scouts for gathering information, fighters for combat, transports for moving people and supplies, and then there are the special ships. Special ships? General Hayes pointed to a section of the shipyard that was blocked off by security barriers. Those are the ships that made the Draconian fleet disappear. Jake felt his heart speed up. What do you mean? Come on, I'll show you. They took another elevator down even deeper underground. When the doors opened, Jake found himself in a smaller room filled with computer screens and control panels. Several people in uniform sat at workstations, their fingers dancing across keyboards. A woman with short red hair approached them. She wore the uniform of a Navy commander. General Hayes, Commander Kate Sullivan reporting. All systems are ready for the demonstration. Commander Sullivan runs our Stealth Operations Division, General Hayes said. Kate, show Captain Morrison what happened to the Draconians. Kate led them to a large screen on the wall. She pressed some buttons, and the screen lit up with a view of space. Stars twinkled in the darkness. This is a recording from 3 months ago, Kate said. The location is about 6 hours flight time from Earth. At first, Jake saw nothing but empty space. Then, slowly, shapes began to appear. Dark, spiked ships materialized out of nowhere. Hundreds of them, stretching across the screen like a deadly cloud. The Draconian Iron Fang Armada, Kate said quietly. 237 warships, each one capable of destroying entire cities. Jake watched the alien fleet move through space toward Earth. The ships were huge and frightening. They look unstoppable. That's what they thought too, Kate replied. On the screen, something strange began to happen. The space around the alien fleet started to shimmer like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The shimmer grew brighter and brighter. What's happening? Jake asked. Quantum displacement, Dr. Rodriguez answered. We're not watching the ships get destroyed, we're watching them get moved. The shimmer became so bright that Jake had to squint. When it faded, the alien fleet was gone, completely gone. Empty space remained where hundreds of warships had been moments before. Where did they go? Jake whispered. Commander Sullivan smiled. Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't hurt anyone, but where they're not being hurt either. I don't understand. General, Hayes put her hand on Jake's shoulder. Captain, what would you do if someone broke into your house to hurt your family? I'd fight them off. And if you won the fight? Jake thought about it. I'd call the police, have them arrested. Exactly. You wouldn't kill them if you didn't have to, right? Of course not. That's the difference between humans and most alien species, Dr. Rodriguez said. When threatened, aliens either run away or fight to the death. They don't understand the concept of capturing an enemy without destroying them. Kate pointed to another screen that showed technical diagrams. We developed quantum displacement technology specifically for this situation. Instead of destroying the Draconian fleet, we moved them to a pocket dimension. They're alive and unharmed, but they can't escape and they can't hurt anyone. Jake stared at the screens. You captured an entire invasion fleet without killing anyone? Every single alien is still alive, General Hayes confirmed. They have food, water, and air. Their ships still work perfectly. They're just in a place where they can't reach Earth or contact their empire. Why? Because that's what humans do, Commander Sullivan said. We find the solution that saves everyone, even our enemies. Jake looked around the room at all the people working at their stations. The galaxy doesn't know about any of this? Not yet, General Hayes replied. But they're about to find out. The Draconian Empire is demanding answers about their missing fleet. Other alien civilizations are asking questions. Soon someone is going to come looking for those ships. What happens then? General Hayes smiled. Then the galaxy learns that Earth is not what it appears to be. And Captain Morrison, you're going to help us show them. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from over 200 different species filled the massive circular room, all talking at once. Some had 4 arms. Others looked like giant insects. A few resembled walking trees with glowing eyes. Ambassador Troy Adams sat quietly in the human section, watching the panic unfold around him. He was the first official human representative to ever attend a Galactic Council meeting. 3 months ago, nobody in the galaxy even knew humans could travel between stars. "Order! Order!" shouted the council speaker, a tall blue creature with tentacles instead of arms. "We must discuss the Draconian situation calmly." A massive lizard-like being stood up from the military section. His scales were black, and his eyes glowed red. "There is nothing calm about this. The Iron Fang Armada has vanished, 200 ships gone without a trace. Perhaps they were destroyed by a natural phenomenon," suggested a small, furry creature with 6 legs. "A solar flare or gravitational anomaly?" "Impossible," roared the lizard being. "Draconian ships are built to survive anything nature can throw at them. This was an attack." Troy Adams looked down at the tablet in his hands. Dr. Nina Foster had prepared detailed notes about each species in the council. The lizard creature was General Scar, representing the Reptilian Defense Coalition. The furry being was Ambassador Fluff from the Harmonic Union, a group of peaceful trading worlds. "If the Draconians were attacked," said a robot with glowing blue eyes, "then we must identify the threat. Our analysis indicates no known species possesses the firepower to eliminate such a large fleet." That was Processor Unit 7 from the Machine Collective. According to Nina's notes, they were logical but completely without emotion. They saw everything as a problem to be solved with mathematics. "What about the target?" asked a graceful being that looked like it was made of living. "Crystal. The fleet was heading to destroy a primitive world called Earth. Perhaps we should investigate there." Troy felt his heart beat faster. That was Crystalline Prime, representative of the Silicon Brotherhood. They were known for being extremely intelligent, but also very curious. If anyone would figure out Earth's secret, it would be them. "General," Scar laughed, a horrible sound like rocks grinding together. "Earth? That backward little rock, they barely learned to fly. Their strongest weapons are chemical explosives. A single Draconian scout ship could level their entire planet." "Then where did the fleet go?" asked Crystalline Prime. The chamber fell silent. Nobody had an answer. Troy Adams stood up slowly. Every eye, lens, and sensory organ in the massive room turned to look at him. He was probably the smallest being in the chamber and definitely the most ordinary looking. "Distinguished representatives," Troy said, his voice steady despite his nervousness. "I am Ambassador Adams representing the planet Earth." The silence stretched on. Then General Scar started laughing again. "A human! They actually sent a representative. How delightfully primitive." Other beings began to chuckle, chirp, or make whatever sounds passed for laughter in their species. Troy waited for the noise to die down. "I understand your amusement," Troy continued. "Earth is indeed young compared to your ancient civilizations. We have much to learn from all of you." "Finally, some sense from the humans," muttered Processor Unit 7. "However," Troy said, and his voice became stronger, "I have been authorized to share some information about the Draconian fleet." The laughter stopped instantly. Every being in the chamber leaned forward. "You know what happened to them?" whispered Ambassador Fluff. "Yes," Troy replied simply. General Scar jumped to his feet. "Impossible. You primitives couldn't track a fleet of that size across interstellar space." "You're right," Troy agreed. "We couldn't track them across space. We didn't need to. They came to us." The chamber erupted in noise again. Beings shouted questions, in dozens of different languages. The council speaker had to bang his gavel repeatedly to restore order. "Explain yourself, human," demanded Crystalline Prime. Troy touched his tablet and a holographic display appeared above his head. It showed the solar system, with Earth as a small blue dot. 3 months ago, the Iron Fang Armada entered our solar system with the intention of destroying Earth and enslaving any survivors. And, pressed General Scar, they never reached Earth. "What happened to them?" asked a floating jellyfish-like creature from the back of the chamber. Troy looked around the room at all the different species. Some looked frightened, others appeared angry. A few seemed merely curious. They encountered Earth's defense forces. The laughter that followed was even louder than before. General Scar was practically falling over. Defense forces? What did you do? Throw rocks at them? Not exactly. Troy touched his tablet again. The holographic display changed to show sleek silver ships surrounding the spiky Draconian vessels. We used our stealth fleet. The laughter died instantly. Stealth fleet? Processor Unit 7's mechanical voice was filled with confusion. Our scans of your system showed no military capabilities beyond primitive chemical propulsion. Your scans were looking for technology like yours, Troy explained. Human technology works differently. Crystalline Prime's body began to glow brighter, a sign of intense interest. Show us these ships. Troy made the holographic display zoom in on one of the human vessels. It looked like liquid metal frozen in the shape of a teardrop. This is the Whisper, one of our scout ships. It can move through your sensor networks without being detected. Impossible, stated General Scar flatly. No stealth technology is that advanced. Human stealth technology is, Troy replied calmly. A new voice spoke from the diplomatic section. It was melodious, like singing water. If your ships are so advanced, why do you appear primitive to our sensors? That was Admiral Reef from the Aquarian Federation, one of the few truly peaceful civilizations in the galaxy. According to Nina's notes, they only fought when absolutely necessary and preferred diplomatic solutions. Because we wanted to appear primitive, Troy answered honestly. Earth has been watching the galaxy for many years. We've seen how aggressive species treat weaker ones. We decided it was safer to remain hidden until we were ready. Ready for what? Asked Ambassador Fluff nervously. Ready to protect ourselves. And ready to protect others who can't protect themselves. General Scar's eyes blazed with anger. Are you threatening us, human? No, Troy said peacefully. I'm explaining why the Draconian fleet is gone. They came to destroy an innocent world. Earth's policy is simple. We don't allow that to happen. Where are they? Demanded Crystalline Prime. If you destroyed that many ships, there should be debris fields, energy signatures, something. Troy smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. Who said we destroyed them? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Beings throughout the chamber looked at each other in confusion. If you didn't destroy the fleet, processor. Unit 7 calculated aloud. And they're not in your system, then where are they? Somewhere safe, Troy replied. Somewhere they can't hurt anyone, but where they're not being hurt either. You captured them? Admiral Reef's voice was filled with amazement. An entire battle fleet? Every ship, every crew member, all alive and unharmed. The chamber fell completely silent. In the entire history of the Galactic Council, no one had ever heard of capturing an enemy fleet without destroying it. Why? Whispered Ambassador Fluff. Troy looked around the chamber one more time. Because that's what humans do. We find solutions that let everyone live. The silence stretched on for long minutes. Finally, Crystalline Prime spoke in a voice filled with wonder. What exactly are you? Captain Scott Mitchell floated in the pilot seat of his stealth ship, watching the enemy fleet approach through the darkness of space. 47 alien warships moved toward Earth like hungry wolves, their hulls gleaming with weapons and armor. Captain, they're demanding to speak with our military commander, reported Sergeant Linda Hayes from the communications station. Her voice was calm, but Scott could hear the tension underneath. Put them through, Scott said quietly. The main screen flickered and showed the bridge of the lead alien ship. A massive creature sat in the command chair, covered in golden fur with sharp fangs and burning eyes. He looked like a giant lion that had learned to walk on two legs and wear a military uniform. I am Commander Roar of the Leonine Battle Fleet, the alien growled. We have come to test the strength of the humans who claim to have defeated the Draconian Empire. Scott kept his face calm. The Leonine Empire was known across the galaxy as proud warriors who respected only strength. They had probably come here expecting to find primitive humans with simple weapons. This is Captain Mitchell of Earth Defense. We welcome your visit, Commander Roar. The alien's laugh was like thunder. Visit? We are here for battle, human. The galaxy speaks of impossible things, ships that cannot be seen, weapons that capture without destroying. We think these are lies told by cowards. What would convince you they're true? Scott asked politely. Show us your fleet. Fight us in honorable combat. Prove that Earth deserves respect. Scott looked around his bridge. His crew of 12 people sat at their stations, ready for anything. Outside the ship's hull, space looked empty, but Scott knew that wasn't true. Very well, Commander. We'll give you a demonstration. Scott opened a channel to the other Earth ships hiding nearby. All units, this is Ghost Leader. Begin Operation Shadowplay. What happened next became legend throughout the galaxy. The Leonine fleet was moving in perfect formation when the first human ship appeared. It materialized directly above Commander Roar's flagship like a silver tear in space itself. The alien sensors screamed warnings, but before they could react, the ship vanished again. What was that? Roared Commander Roar at his bridge crew. Unknown, sir, replied his tactical officer, a younger Leonine with nervous eyes. Our sensors detected nothing until it appeared, then lost it when it disappeared. Before anyone could explain, another human ship flickered into view. This one appeared between two Leonine vessels, so close they could have touched it. The ship stayed visible for exactly 5 seconds, then faded away like smoke. All ships, battle alert, Commander Roar shouted. Prepare weapons, find these ghost ships. That's when Scott decided to have some fun. The silent runner materialized directly in front of Commander Roar's bridge windows, so close that the Leonine crew could see Scott sitting in his pilot chair, calmly drinking a cup of coffee. He waved at them with his free hand and smiled. The alien crew stared in shock. Their most powerful warship was face-to-face with a human vessel, and their weapons couldn't lock onto it. Impossible, whispered Commander Roar. Scott's ship stayed there for 10 full seconds, while the Leonine weapons tried desperately to target it. Then it simply faded away, leaving empty space. Did he just wave at us? Asked the young tactical officer. Commander Roar's face was turning red under his golden fur. All ships, fire everything, destroy these ghosts! The Leonine fleet opened fire with every weapon they had. Laser beams cut through space. Plasma bolts exploded in brilliant flashes. Missile swarms spread out like deadly fireworks. For 2 full minutes, they turned the space around them into a light show that could be seen from Mars. When the firing stopped, there was nothing. No debris, no energy signatures, no trace that human ships had ever been there. Then Scott's voice came over, their communication system friendly and calm. Commander Roar, that was impressive firepower, but you might want to check your cargo bays. My cargo bays? Why would I need to? Commander Roar's security chief interrupted. Sir, we're detecting unauthorized objects in Cargo Bay 3, Cargo Bay 7 and Cargo Bay 12. That's impossible, those bays are sealed and guarded. Sir, you really need to see this. Commander Roar and his security team rushed through the ship to Cargo Bay 3. When they opened the heavily sealed door, they found a small wooden box sitting in the middle of the empty room. Next to it was a handwritten note. The note was written, in perfect Leonine script, Greetings from Earth. This box contains chocolate chip cookies made by Captain Mitchell's wife. Please enjoy them as a gift from the human people. If we had wanted to harm your ship, this box could have contained something very different. We hope this demonstrates our peaceful intentions. Commander Roar picked up the box with shaking hands. His security team scanned it thoroughly. The cookies were real, fresh-baked, and completely harmless. But the message was terrifying. The humans had somehow entered his most secure areas without triggering a single alarm. How? Commander Roar whispered. The other cargo bays contained similar boxes with similar notes. Each one was signed by a different human captain, with cookies made by their families. The messages were all friendly, but the meaning was clear. We could have destroyed you easily, but we chose kindness instead. Scott's voice came over the communication system again. "Commander Roar, we've shown you our capabilities. Your ships are magnificent, but they cannot fight what they cannot find. Then why didn't you destroy us in the first attack? Because we're not your enemies. We don't want to conquer the Leonine Empire. We want to be friends." Commander Roar sat heavily in his command chair. His entire worldview was crashing down around him. The Leonine way was simple. Fight until you win or die trying. But how do you fight an enemy that won't let you see them? "Human Captain," Commander Roar said slowly, "your demonstration has been educational. We're glad you understand. There's room in this galaxy for all of us to prosper." "What happened to the Draconian fleet? Tell me the truth." Scott's voice became serious. "They came here to destroy innocent people. We stopped them. But Commander Roar, every single Draconian warrior is still alive. Where are they?" "Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can think about their choices without hurting anyone else." Commander Roar looked around his bridge. His officers were all staring at their sensor screens, which showed nothing but empty space. Yet they all knew human ships were out there, invisible and untouchable. "Captain Mitchell," Commander Roar said finally, "the Leonine Empire would be honored to discuss a friendship treaty with Earth." "We'd be happy to talk, Commander. But first, please try those cookies. My wife will be very upset if you don't like them." Despite everything that had happened, Commander Roar found himself smiling. These humans were definitely not what anyone expected. While the Leonine fleet was learning about Earth's capabilities, President Helen Carter was preparing to address her own people. The entire encounter had been broadcast live to every nation on Earth. Billions of people had watched their military handle first contact with alien warriors. "My fellow humans," President Carter said from the Oval Office, "today you saw something that will change our world forever. We are no longer alone in the universe. But more importantly, you saw how we choose to interact with others who are different from us." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "We could have destroyed that alien fleet in minutes. Instead, we showed them friendship. We offered them cookies made by our families. This is who we are. This is what makes us human." The president stood up from her desk. "I am now going to do something no human leader has ever done. I'm going to speak to the entire galaxy." The transmission that followed was heard on thousands of worlds across known space. Alien leaders, military commanders, and ordinary citizens all listened as the leader of a supposedly primitive world spoke to them directly. "People of the stars," President Carter said simply, "Earth extends its hand in friendship to all who come in peace. We have much to learn from your ancient civilizations, but we also have something to offer." She looked out the window at the night sky, where alien ships still floated near Earth. "We offer protection to those who cannot protect themselves. We offer justice to those who have been wronged, and we offer mercy to those who have made mistakes." Her voice became stronger. "But to those who would harm the innocent, know this. Earth will not allow it. We have the power to stop aggression without becoming aggressive ourselves. We have the wisdom to capture rather than kill. This is our promise to the galaxy." The message spread across space at the speed of light. On some worlds it brought hope. On others it brought fear. But on every world, it brought the same realization. The galaxy had changed forever. Humanity was no longer hiding in the shadows. They had stepped into the light, and they were nothing like anyone expected. Dr. Ben Taylor stood in front of the massive quantum portal, watching numbers scroll across his computer screen. 3 months of preparation had led to this moment. Today, Earth would make contact with the trapped Draconian fleet for the first time since they had vanished. "All systems are ready, Doctor," reported his assistant, Carol Jensen. She was nervous, and Ben couldn't blame her. They were about to talk to some of the most dangerous warriors in the galaxy. "Open the communication channel," Ben said quietly. The portal shimmered, and suddenly they were looking into another dimension. The space beyond was gray and misty, filled with the dark shapes of Draconian warships. The aliens had been trapped, there for months, unable to escape or contact their empire. A face appeared on the screen. It belonged to a massive creature with black scales and burning red eyes. Scars covered his face and neck, telling the story of a lifetime of battles. I'm Admiral Vex of the Iron Fang Armada, the alien growled. Are you the humans who imprisoned us? Ben nodded calmly. I'm Dr. Ben Taylor. We've opened this channel to discuss your situation. Admiral Vex's laugh was cold and harsh. Discuss? You have trapped the greatest fleet in Draconian history in this gray prison. What is there to discuss? Your freedom, Ben replied simply. The Draconian admiral stopped laughing. Explain. Earth is preparing to offer the Galactic Council a new peace treaty. As part of that treaty, we're willing to release your fleet. What do you want in return? Ben looked at his notes. President Carter and the Earth Council had spent weeks preparing for this conversation. We want the Draconian Empire to promise never to attack innocent worlds again. Admiral Vex's eyes blazed with anger. We are Draconians. We take what we want. We bow to no one. Then you'll stay in the gray dimension forever, Ben said calmly. The alien admiral stared at him through the screen. You would keep us prisoner. For eternity. We would prefer not to. But we won't release you to go destroy other worlds. There was a long silence. Finally, Admiral Vex spoke again, his voice quieter. In 3 months of imprisonment, not one of my warriors has been harmed. Our ships work perfectly. We have food, water, and air. Why do you keep us alive? Because killing is wrong unless there's no other choice, Ben answered honestly. You came to destroy our world, but that doesn't mean we have to destroy you. Admiral Vex looked confused. This makes no sense. In war, you destroy your enemies. Earth doesn't see you as enemies. We see you as people who made bad choices. Bad choices? Dr. Carol Jensen stepped forward. Admiral, may I ask you something? Why did the Draconian Empire decide to attack Earth? Because you were weak. The strong rule the weak. This is the law of the galaxy. But we weren't weak, Carol pointed out. Your fleet is trapped in another dimension. Doesn't that prove Earth is strong? Admiral Vex was quiet for a moment. Yes, you are stronger than we believed. So by your own law, Earth should rule the Draconian Empire now, right? The Admiral's eyes widened. You have the right of conquest. Ben shook his head. We don't want to rule anyone. We just want to live in peace. I don't understand. That's okay. You will. 3 weeks later, the biggest gathering in galactic history took place in orbit around Earth. Ships from every major civilization floated in space around the blue planet. The Galactic Council had come to witness the signing of the new peace treaty. Senator Grace Park stood at the podium in the main conference room of Earth's new space station. Representatives from hundreds of worlds watched her with curious eyes. Today marks a new beginning for all civilizations, Grace said. Her voice was strong and clear. For too long, the galaxy has operated on the principle that might makes right, that the strong should dominate the weak. Earth proposes a different way. General Scar of the Reptilian Defense Coalition raised his clawed hand. What way is that, human? The way of cooperation, the way of mutual respect, the way that lets everyone grow and prosper. Pretty words, sneered General Scar. But words don't stop aggressive species from attacking peaceful ones. Grace smiled. You're right. That's why Earth is offering to enforce the peace. The chamber erupted in noise. Beings from across the galaxy shouted questions and arguments. The council speaker had to bang his gavel many times to restore order. How can one world enforce peace across the entire galaxy? Demanded Crystalline Prime. Admiral Alex Stone, the new commander of Earth's revealed fleet, stepped forward. The same way we stopped the Draconian invasion. The same way we handled the Leonine test. With technology they can't see coming and wisdom they don't expect. You would become the galaxy's police force? Asked Admiral Reef of the Aquarian Federation. We would become the galaxy's protectors, Alex corrected. Any species that attacks peaceful worlds will face Earth's response. And what is Earth's response? This came from Processor Unit 7 of the Machine Collective. Grace answered. Capture, not destruction. Imprisonment, not death. Time to think, not time to suffer. Ambassador Troy Adams activated a holographic display. "We're prepared to show you something that will change everything." The display showed the gray dimension where the Draconian fleet was trapped. But now there were other ships there too. Ships from a dozen different aggressive species that had tried to attack peaceful worlds over the past month. The Ravager pirates who attacked the farming colonies of Sector 7, Troy explained. The Blood Raiders who enslaved the peaceful Harmony worlds. The Death Fleet that tried to destroy the research stations of the Science Coalition. All captured, all alive, all thinking about their choices. Admiral Vex appeared on the communication screen. The Draconian looked different than before. Less angry, more thoughtful. "People of the galaxy," Admiral Vex said slowly, "I have spent months learning about humans. They could have destroyed my entire fleet in minutes. Instead, they gave us time to understand our mistakes." "What mistakes?" asked General Scar suspiciously. "We thought strength meant the ability to destroy. Humans showed us that real strength is the ability to protect. We thought victory meant making others fear you. Humans showed us that real victory is making others respect you." "What are you saying?" demanded General Scar. Admiral Vex's scarred face was serious. "The Draconian Empire formally requests to join Earth's peace treaty. We pledge never again to attack innocent worlds. And we offer our fleet to help protect others who cannot protect themselves." The chamber fell completely silent. No one could believe what they had just heard. The most aggressive species in the galaxy was volunteering to become peacekeepers. "This is impossible," whispered Ambassador Fluff. "Draconians don't change." "Everyone can change," Grace said gently. "They just need the right teacher." President Helen Carter's voice came over the communication system from Earth. "The treaty is simple. Any world that wants to live in peace will be protected. Any world that chooses aggression will be stopped. Not destroyed, but stopped. This is humanity's promise to the galaxy." One by one, representatives began to sign the treaty. The peaceful species signed quickly, grateful for protection. The aggressive species took longer, but eventually, they too agreed. The alternative was to face Earth's invisible fleet and join the others in the gray dimension. As the signing ceremony ended, Dr. Carol Jensen activated the quantum portal one final time. The Draconian fleet began to emerge from the gray dimension, their ships gleaming in the light of Earth's sun. Admiral Vex's flagship was the first to clear the portal. As it moved into normal space, something amazing happened. The dark, spiked armor of the Draconian ships began to change. The spikes retracted. The black color lightened to silver. Weapon ports closed and sensor arrays opened. "What's happening? To your ships?" asked Troy Adams. Admiral Vex smiled, and for the first time it wasn't a frightening expression. "We're becoming what we should have been all along. Protectors, not destroyers." Alex Stone watched from the bridge of Earth's command ship as the transformed Draconian vessels took positions alongside human ships. Together, they formed the first joint patrol fleet in galactic history. "Admiral Stone," came a transmission from one of the Draconian ships. "This is Captain Scale of the reformed vessel Mercy's Edge, ready to begin peacekeeping operations." Alex smiled. "Welcome to the new galaxy, Captain. Let's get to work." As Earth's sun set behind the planet, thousands of ships from hundreds of worlds began to spread out across the galaxy, not to conquer or destroy, but to protect and preserve. The age of endless war was over. The age of enforced peace had begun, and it had all started with one simple human idea. Sometimes the best way to win is to help your enemy become your friend.